in terms of bull market plans, take profit plans, we're getting at a very critical juncture. Time is kind of running out in this regard. This might be probably my last kind of video that I do in terms of when to sell, how to take profits, or how I'm looking at taking profits, and just the general idea behind it. But right now, we are in this very key consolidation in the bull market. It is the first consolidation of this bull market post altcoin season. We're kind of like, if we look at last cycle, right here. So before we dive into the speculation, the spreadsheets, and really look at what taking profits could look like, I'm going to be using Cardano, DOGE on Bitcoin, as well as Ethereum. I want to start this video with just an amazing illustration of how these cycles work. I don't know if you saw, I did a very similar video not that long ago, Crypto Profits Simplified on Substack. When I recorded, you can see in the video, 34 cents. When I finally uploaded it to YouTube, ADA was around 68 cents. Now, here we are. I released the video you're watching right now, actually. I released this weeks ago, December 4th, and ADA, if you look at where ADA was, we're at $1.19. Now, as you watch this video, ADA has dipped 42% essentially, but right now sitting at around 92 cents. So do you see the volatility has truly entered the bull market chat? And this is what bull markets are made of, everybody. But the reason I'm starting this video, and I had to edit this in, is because I wanted to start with this by really exemplifying, illustrating why having a plan is so absolutely crucial. Because yes, this is in my view, and this is going to be a very fun exercise as we enter this bull market to see if this bull market plays out how I'm personally anticipating. I know many of you are. It'll be fun to see looking back on this video in a few months, but this is just a very nice visualization of why it's so important to have a plan. We were at $30s. We dipped to 70s within a matter of, this is a 4-hour chart. So this happened very quick. So what happens if the bull market does continue and ADA makes its way to 250 and then has a huge dip, or makes its way above 3 to 4 and then has a massive dip into the 2s? What happens in those scenarios? That is why having a plan is so crucial to me. So I wanted to start this video by explaining this and showing this. I know it adds a little bit of time, but I think it's very just really good, helpful exercise to see how this is playing out. And this really is how the cycles of crypto have operated across the cycle. So let's jump into the video. Okay, I'm excited to do this video. It's going to be early release for paid Substack subscribers, but going to be also posted on X and YouTube eventually, and completely applicable to where we are in the bull cycle. So here's a spreadsheet, but I want to start actually on total crypto market cap real briefly just to lay the groundwork here. Not going to get into the analysis of it all. I talk about it all the time, and we've been tracking this and waiting for this moment for years. But purple line, altcoin season. Here's altcoin season last cycle, and you can see we are just on track. We just kind of saw Bitcoin dominance start falling, and here's altcoins. This is the total market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, but we can see altcoins testing previous all-time high from last cycle. At this moment last cycle, post altcoin season, after altcoin season started, Bitcoin dominance started falling. You can see altcoins started breaking all-time high after that moment. Now, this is important, especially from this preparation, visualization standpoint. The date range of when it really broke all-time high to when it saw the bull market high was like 250 to 300 days. So I'm not saying it is definite from this moment or whenever we're going to break all-time high that it's 250 to 300 days. But I do have like October 2025 as like the end of the bull market. It could be less. It could be longer. But just in my mind, I have this time frame that I am just incredibly focused right now to figure out my plan. So when we're talking about a plan, what does that look like? First things first, it is completely different for everybody. I saw a comment earlier today. Somebody was basically, I think, telling me their dad sold at 80 cents. And I think they told me they just took some profits. But either way, and I'm referring to ADA, this is different for everybody. People are already taking profits. There's a lot of people out there that are just like, you know what? That was a insane bear market. I held through the whole thing. I'm taking some profits right now. I don't even care if we're not at all-time high yet with something like ADA. I'm taking some profits. People are saying that, I'm sure. But I want to use ADA, DOG. They're my two top coins going into this bull cycle. And I also want to use Ethereum, a very generic and just very applicable chart to everybody. So it doesn't matter what altcoin you hold. This approach, I think, is helpful for a visualization exercise at the very least. And before we dive into the real numbers and look at speculation of what this cycle can look like and creating a plan around it, I want to just give a shout out to today's sponsor. This is itrustcapital. It could not be any more applicable. There's no better video to put this in. itrustcapital, the crypto IRA. I was just talking to my mom last night about this. This whole concept of, okay, if we're going to get one of these moves into a bull market, like we've seen in previous cycles, if this is getting ready to happen right now, whether the plan is to go from altcoins into Bitcoin, if it's to go into just accumulation phase, dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin, whatever the plan is, having a crypto IRA and the tax advantages surrounding that. And this really is for macro-minded people, people that are zoomed out, people that are thinking across multiple cycles, people that are thinking long-term. And it's just an IRA product where you're buying and selling crypto 24/7. So that means in the middle of a bull market, when things are getting crazy, it doesn't matter if it's midnight on, a Saturday and things are pumping to your targets and you're like, I need to make a move, and you want to do it within an IRA product. itrustcapital offers so many advantages. $11 billion in transactions, over 200,000 accounts, has been such an awesome sponsor of Crypto Capital Venture channel. So please hit the link below, sign up with them. It's so easy to open an account. Just click open an account. The form is incredibly easy. And shout out to itrustcapital for sponsoring this video. It's a very good video to kind of put their product in. So go check them out. Now let's get into the numbers. So here's ADA on the top. Let's just start here. Very simple numbers. This is a completely speculative demo type of environment. I just want to take 100,000 ADA and let's just put 5 million DOG, and let's just put 10 Ethereum. There's our starting point. The way that I go about this, and that's all this is, I'm just sharing with you how I'm approaching this. And this is literally my spreadsheet that I use. This is the spreadsheet I'm using. If you go to ADA, the scenario we're going to walk through is just completely off the top of my head. This isn't my plan, but this is the way in which I think. The first thing for me is the starting point. It's always, how high do I think something could go? Like, what's the top? This cycle for ADA, I think it is realistic. It could hit $500 billion market cap around, I think it's around $16. Now, Ethereum did this last cycle. There's many reasons why I think Cardano can do it this cycle, but that's a starting point for me. It's something I want to have in my head when I'm speculating, when I'm brainstorming here and creating ideas of how to take profits. This does not mean that I am just waiting for $500 billion market cap to sell ADA. That is probably the biggest mistake, trying to sell the top of a bull market. Alternatively, I think the best approach is to find not where you think the top is, but a conservative, realistic range. And for ADA, I just think that $5 to $10 range is just a nice bull market high. It's nothing too parabolic. It's nothing too crazy. That's not me saying I don't think it can go higher. I just said I think it could go to 500 billion. It could get crazy. But $5 to $10 range. And so that's my starting point. $5 to $10 range with $500 billion market cap also just on my mind. It's there as a reality. Let me visualize that scenario as well. But what does this look like now? Well, the next best thing for me, now that I have this starting point range, is what's a key area? And it's all-time high. It's that $3 area. So if we go to the spreadsheet and we can just really think about just how a regular person might be looking at this. Somebody might just be like, I'm not waiting until all-time high to take profits. After that bear market, I'm not waiting. And they're like, I absolutely am. I'm going to get my selling fingers warmed up, and I'm going to sell 10,000 of my 100,000 ADA at $1.50, just because I want to see some gains at this point after that brutal bear market, right? Boom, $15,000, and you can see there's this cumulative value as you start working into the scenario. And then let's just say, you know, $2 ADA, you're kind of like, you know what? I just sold at $1.50. I'm not selling at $2 yet. $2.50, because now remember the $5 to $10 range is that bull market top range. And you're like, you know what? I will take a little at $2.50. $3, it's starting to break all-time highs. I think it's going to surpass all-time highs. I think at $3.50, I want to just, when it's kind of breaking all-time high and going beyond that, I want to get that swing high, another 10,000. So you can see now we've sold $75,000 worth of ADA, and we have 70,000 ADA left. So, and remember, this is 70,000 ADA at $3.50. So you sold $75,000. You have over $200,000 worth of ADA still in the market. Because now that you know that, you can be like, if ADA goes to $5 and I have 70,000 ADA, I have $350,000 in the market. Now that you know that number, you can say, I might want to adjust these numbers a little bit. I can actually withstand selling 20,000 at $110,000 profit total, still having 60,000 left over, because remember, 60,000 times $5, you will have $300,000 in the market. Then it goes to $7. You have 60,000 at $7. You have 400, almost $500,000 in the market at $7. And you're like, you know what? Maybe it goes to 10. Maybe it goes to $16, that $500 billion market cap. I'll enjoy the ride on the way up, but before we even get there, I'm selling $140,000 worth. I'm taking my profits, and you can just see the profits are, and I think this right here, I think is not right. I'm going to delete that, but the profits are $250,000 profit, and you still have 40,000 left in the market at $7. So you still have $280,000 left in the market. And you can enjoy that ride. If ADA goes to $10, guess what? Maybe you take a little bit more profits. Or maybe at the top at $10, if it goes parabolic, $15, whatever, you might want to move over to Bitcoin for the bear market. So that's how I'm going about it from an ADA perspective. And for me, it's working over these numbers multiple times. It's creating different scenarios like the one you see here to come up with the plan. That's how I'm looking at this. I want to go over to DOGE. DOGE is, again, my second top hold in the crypto bull market. And it's the same exact thing for me. For DOGE, I don't think it's even started yet. And the scenario we're going to discuss is if we get these tier one listings, if DOGE, the number one meme coin on Bitcoin, gets these tier one listings, what's possible? I think 2020 DOGE bull market is possible. 70 billion plus. It's possible. Especially if it's a meme coin super cycle, especially if somehow DOGE just gets insane momentum and crazy good narrative because it is the number one meme coin on Bitcoin. Maybe Michael Saylor posts about it or something. I don't know. It's possible, but you better believe I'm not waiting until $70 billion market cap to take profits. So what's the realistic range? For a number one meme coin on Bitcoin, this first cycle Bitcoin has meme coins. If tier one listings come, 25 billion to 10 billion range is, I just think, so in play. So from where we are right now, $690 million market cap, not even at $1 billion yet. What could that spreadsheet look like? And I go over to DOGE. Let's say we have a starting point of 5 million DOGE. Maybe the first sell could be at 1.5 billion market cap. And maybe it's just, 500,000 DOGE. So just again, warming up those sell fingers, but the parabolic bull market not even beginning. And then you can see on the spreadsheet, this 0.04 is basically $4 billion market cap. And then the 0.08 is $8 billion. Here's $10 billion. And so it could be an environment where you're just watching this, you're comparing it to DOGE last cycle. And you know what? It's just looking at the very least, this bull market, DOGE's going to 3 billion, right? Go over to the spreadsheet. Here we go at 0.04. Let's change it to 0.03. Let's sell $1 million. Sold $1 million for $30,000. Cumulative value, $37,500. And we still have a lot of upside. And then you start plugging in numbers. You have 3.5 million remaining. And you're like, I'm waiting until $10 billion market cap to sell, let's say, another $1 million. Now you just did a $100,000 sell. You have 137,500 profit, and you have half of the dog bag left. And so in that case, you sold at 10 billion. We go back to our chart and you're like, all right, we sold right here and we've profited over $100,000. We're right here. And now we're getting into that stage where we might get this crazy parabolic move into the up towards 20, 30, maybe even $40 billion market cap. And I have half my bag here. I'm not selling until 0.3. And then I'm going to sell, let's just say, 1.5 million, right? So now you've profited, it looks like, what are we looking at? $587,000, and you still have $1 million remaining dog. And that million remaining dog at $30 billion market cap is worth $300,000. So that's kind of game changing in terms of what you've done already, right? Meaning you can go back and be like, you know what? I want to readjust some of these things. And looking at the move of dog speculatively that we just saw, you're like, I'm not selling at 1.5 billion. That doesn't make sense. I'm waiting till 3 billion. And you can see it, we have 1.5 million left over. And by the way, whenever I'm doing this, I'll just go to a random like sell on here and I'll just put, what would that 1.5 billion be at, well, not 0.15, but 0.3. So we're looking at $450,000, right? So that's how I would do this when I'm just working on the spreadsheet. And just for reference, I have $450,000 dog still in the market after profiting $580,000. So that's kind of the way that I would approach dog, right? And again, this is not my plan. This is just how my thought process works in brainstorming through these things. And then Ethereum, it's the same thing. The starting point for Ethereum for me is just, Ethereum has just such good structure right now in the charts. And if you're looking at the charts, we're looking at like, I don't know, $18,000 to $20,000 as a swing high for Ethereum. Right now it's at 3,800. So if you have 10 Ethereum, let's just say, is what we have here, is $38,000 in the market. What do the sell prices want to be? And these obviously aren't the prices, but $3,800, we can kind of on the way up to 20 speculate. And you can just be like, there's absolutely no way that I'm selling any Ethereum anywhere below all-time high, right? So nowhere below like $5,000. I'm waiting until at least $6,500 to sell. And then I'm not going to sell again until $10,000. So $6,500 and $10,000. And then I just go over here. I put it on the spreadsheet. And I say, okay, I'm going to sell, 2 Ethereum there, and I'm going to sell 3 Ethereum there, $43,000 in sales. I have 5 Ethereum left at $10,000. So I've sold $43,000 worth, and I have $50,000 worth left in, and I'm not selling any more until $15,000. And I'm going to sell 2 more. I have 3 Ethereum left, and it's $73,000 cashed out, and I have, $45,000 in the market still. And maybe you wait until swing high, it does go parabolic to $20,000. And at that moment, you're like, you know what? I've cashed out some fiat. I'm moving the rest over to Bitcoin for the bear market, So it depends. Again, this is just, you might have less Ethereum and you might have more. You might have less dog. You might have more. You might not have any dog. You might have less ADA. You might have more. These are speculative scenarios. But I think the basis of it for me is this. The starting point is having a starting point range that is realistic, and I would even say just kind of conservative, and working your scale out method into that range, ending in that range, but being mindful. Things could go parabolic, and it would be nice to have a nice stack left over for those parabolic moves. So ADA, $15, you definitely want to have an ADA stack. You want to have some left over for an environment like that. Dog, catching up to Doge and flipping Doge. You want to have some dog. Ethereum, going ridiculously crazy, surpassing 20,000. You want to have some Ethereum in those environments. So that's kind of how I'm looking at this. But again, this whole thing is mental. The entire process for me is mental. It's just being prepared. And I guess the main thing I should have mentioned is these are all speculative scenarios. We might not get the bull market. And that's the complete flip side of the video that we're discussing right now. We're talking about bull market gains, how to capture the exit gains on the way up. Well, what if there is no way up? That's something we always have to remain mindful of, and something I'm always considering, just because we're in this market, we're exposed to the market, the risks of it. And one of the risks is we don't get the parabolic move. So keep that in mind as well. But these are my thoughts on just kind of working through brainstorming. But I think the biggest, most important thing of the exercise is the fact that you're doing the exercise, is the fact that you're trying to figure it out. So what it looks like for everybody, completely different. Sorry about that. And, let me know in the comments below what you're thinking about your exits. This is just some of my way of thinking, and I wanted to share it with you. So subscribe, hit the like if you enjoyed this content. I'll see you in the next one. God bless.